Hey Chiefs Kingdom, Harrison Graham ready for another video for you guys, but I want to do another mailbag soon, so get your questions in right now. The clock is ticking because I might film this video at any second. Use hashtag Chiefs in the comments and we'll answer as many questions as we can on a future mailbag. Hashtag Chiefs and get your questions in right now. Welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. On today's show, I want to take a look at 5 breakout candidates for the 2021 NFL season. Couple of notes, we don't do rookies on breakouts and we don't do seasoned vets. Like you've been in the league more than 5 years, you're not eligible. Young players, but not rookies, guys who haven't completely broken out yet. Speaking of which, third-year player Mecole Hardman is first up here. I think I did him on my breakout candidates video last year, and well, he didn't quite break out. He did some good things once again this past year, but I think now, entering year 3, I'm looking for more consistency for Mecole Hardman. He's shown he can be a big-time player. He's shown in certain gadget situations like jet sweeps and quick screens and stuff like that, he's very explosive and a big-time, in-space type of player. But can he fine-tune some of his ability as a pure wide receiver? That is what I am looking for in year number 3 for Mecole Hardman. He's done some nice things through 2 seasons. There is no doubt about it, especially his rookie year. The explosiveness, 21 yards a catch, that was very impressive. Found the end zone 6 times as well. Last year, more catches but less explosion, less touchdowns as well. We saw less big plays a year ago. And what disappointed me last year is when Sammy Watkins missed a good chunk of the season, he didn't really emerge as the true wide receiver 2. Will that happen this year? After Tyreek Hill, you look at the depth chart, it's kind of up for grabs. We don't really know how this is going to pan out. Now, entering training camp, this is how I have it. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1. Mecole Hardman, wide receiver 2. D-Rob, Byron Pringle, kind of 3A, 3B there, as they're kind of in the same tier. But any of those 3 guys, and maybe even Cornell Powell, could grab that number 2 wide receiver job. It's up for grabs. There are a lot of bodies that are going to be at minicamp, at training camp. We've seen a lot of these guys at OTAs as well. It's going to be a competition, and at this point, it doesn't appear that Kansas City is going to sign anyone else at the wide receiver position. So now it's up to these guys. It's up to Mecole Hardman to take a step forward this year. So I'm excited about it. I hope he can emerge and be a guy moving forward that the Chiefs can trust as that number 2 receiver. Predict it for me. Who will be wide receiver 2 this year? If you think it'll be Hardman, type 1. If you think it'll be Demarcus Robinson, type 2. Byron Pringle, type 3. If you think it'll be Cornell Powell, type 4 in the comments. I think it'll be one of these guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let's go to Clyde Edwards-Helaire now, and this is kind of an obvious one, right? Coming off a solid rookie campaign, did a lot of good things, did miss some time late in the season, had a bit of a hamstring issue, dealt with an ankle injury as well, missed 3 games, wasn't really 100% during the playoffs either. I think he's pretty close to a lock to be a 1,000-yard back in 2021, especially once they decided to release Damian Williams. You got Darrell Williams, but I think CEH is going to get the bulk of those carries and those touches. If he played in all 16 last year, he would have been right on the cusp for 1,000 yards. He had 803 yards rushing in 13 games, 4.5 yards per carry. I thought that was pretty good. Just 4 touchdowns. He's got to get better in short yardage and on the goal line, but I think that will come with time. What I'm looking for Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not only to get more opportunities running the football, but I think that the Chiefs' offense, led by Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, can really maximize him in the passing game. I think they can really get him more involved as a receiver out of the backfield. That's what he did a lot at LSU, especially in that 2019 season, playing with Joe Burrow when they won the national title in college. I want to see this guy get more targets and more catches. Please make it happen this year. He did a little bit of that last year, 36 catches, about 300 yards and 1 touchdown, but I think he can be a 50 or 60 catch guy and push for 400 or 500 yards receiving in the NFL. He's not Christian McCaffrey, he's not Alvin Kamara, but he can be, a top 10 or 12 receiving back in the NFL as well. He actually is very comparable to a Ray Rice back when he was one of the more dynamic running backs in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, on-field comparison here. Let's not get crazy, you guys in the comments. I know how y'all get. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, think he's primed for a breakout season. I think he's going to have a huge year for the Kansas City Chiefs here in 2021. Before we get to our next breakout candidate, subscribe to the Chiefs Report, news, rumors, and much more videos just like this one on this channel. It's youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Go ahead and subscribe. We're plugging out videos 4, 5, 6 days a week. Almost can do daily videos, but we need more subscribers. We're almost at the 17K. Help us get there. Hit that big red button. Before we go to our next guy, other breakout candidates that didn't quite make the list. How about Byron Pringle and Demarcus Robinson? I mentioned Mecole Hardman, but maybe one of those guys emerges in as your number 2 wide receiver, and they break out in 2021. Rashad Fenton, I think he's got a good chance to start either at nickel or at corner this year. We'll see if he does. That means he's probably broken out. Michael Dana, second-year edge, did some good things last year. We'll see what he does in year number 2. And then Tershawn Wharton, who was a great find as a UDFA a year ago. If Chris Jones does play a lot of defensive end, which is in the plans according to Steve Spagnuolo, I think Wharton could have a big season as well. But let's focus more on the guys we really want to spend some time on. Jarius Sneed, as we shift the defensive side of the ball. This guy was a stud last year as a rookie. Only played in 9 games because he suffered a broken collarbone in the middle of the season, but he played outstanding. He had 3 interceptions in 9 games and showed really good coverage skills. And if the Chiefs don't re-sign Bashaud Breeland, Jarius Sneed is your top corner entering this year. And even if you do re-sign Breeland, it might be Sneed anyway. Guys, this was the steal of the draft in 2020. To get this kid in the 4th round, how well he played a year ago, going up against number 1 receivers in a lot of games, he was outstanding. I think if he played in all 16 games, he would have had 5 or 6 picks. He had 3 in 9 games last year, including 1 in each of the first couple of games before he suffered that broken collarbone. I love his coverage skills. He has great size. This is a really, really good young player that I think will emerge as a true number 1 corner this year. And if that's the case, you're feeling a lot better about the cornerback depth chart in the secondary as a whole. Hopefully Charvarius Ward can bounce back. He struggled last year. We all know that. But I like Rashad Fenton. I think he's got some upside. I think DeAndre Baker is a guy who can compete with Charvarius Ward potentially. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Bo Peep Keys as well. Mike Hughes, who the Chiefs traded for recently. You've got some names, but I think it all starts with Jarius Sneed. This kid is very, very talented. What do you guys think? I think he is. I think he's going to do it this year. Is Jarius Sneed, I should say, ready to be CB number 1? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I love this kid. I think he's going to be a number 1 corner in this league for a very, very long time. Couple more guys here. Juan Thornhill, the safety, who was awesome as a rookie in 2019, kind of like Jarius Sneed was in 2020. Last year, by the end of the season, he was playing really well. But in the final game of 2019, his rookie year, he tore his ACL, and it took him most of last season to be fully recovered and look like the one we saw in 2019. The good news is he returned late last year. He played well in the postseason for Kansas City, but he wasn't completely himself, which is understandable. He tore his ACL. Usually that first year back, you're not quite the same guy, but the year after that, in most cases, you're even stronger than you were before. Kind of side-by-side comparison, looking at his first couple of years here. Obviously in 2019, started all 16 games. He was a ball hawk safety next to Tyrann Mathieu, 3 picks, 5 pass breakups. Last year only had 1 interception, only had 3 pass breakups. Just started in 8 games, got less playing time. The Chiefs opted with Dan Sorensen in a lot of situations, but they do play some 3 safety looks. I think Thornhill will be back to being a primary starter this year. I'm expecting a big year out of this kid. I loved him coming out of Virginia. He proved me right his rookie season, and by the end of last year, I want to reemphasize this, he looked like the same Juan Thornhill we saw in 2019. It just took that knee a while. It took the Chiefs a while to fully trust him and to trust his health. By the end of last season, though, that was the case, and he played very, very well. I think that will roll over here into 2021. We do have a mailbag soon. Hashtag Chiefs. Get your questions in the comments right now, and we will answer as many as we can on our next show. Use hashtag Chiefs to get your questions down in the comments, and we'll answer as many as we can on an upcoming mailbag. Ask about free agency, training camp, the upcoming season, trade ideas. I don't care what it is. Get your questions in, and we'll answer from the best ones. Willie Gay Jr. is next up, and I believe our final player today. I think this is number 5. I get all thrown out of whack. He is our last breakout candidate. Flashed some as a rookie. Didn't play a ton. I think the coaching staff wasn't ready to fully trust him yet, so they opted with Anthony Hitchens and Damian Wilson and Ben Neiman in most cases, but I think Willie Gay will take that step forward this year. Did finish last year with an ankle injury when he was kind of starting to play well and play a little bit more. He gets hurt, of course, because what else? That's what happens. And I think this year, though, he's going to have a bigger role. I think he'll be a starter on this defense, especially in 4-3 sets. Now, when they go to nickel, it might be Nick Bolton. We'll see how the rookie out of Missouri performs in the preseason and in training camp and all that good stuff. Damian Wilson is gone. You've got Anthony Hitchens. Ben Neiman is back. Ideally, Hitch, Bolton, and Gay are your three primary linebackers, and Ben Neiman is linebacker number 4. Nice player, but I don't think he should start. You've invested a lot more in Bolton and Gay Jr., who were second-round picks in each of the past 2 drafts. Last year when he played, he flashed. I mean, he flies around. He can really, really run. He's probably your fastest linebacker. Maybe Nick Bolton could challenge him for that now that he's in the fold, but I like his coverage skills as a linebacker. I like his ability to blitz some as well. Let's see if he can put it all together. Remember, he didn't get a lot of playing time in college because he had some off-the-field issues, which led to a suspension. So hopefully a year under his belt, he's ready to be a more consistent and a more utilized player in this Chiefs defense. So there you go. There's 5 guys plus some other guys that could break out. What do you guys think? Give me a name. Who will break out for the Chiefs in 2021? I think there's a lot of young talent on this team. I just gave you 5 guys plus 5 more that I didn't spend as much time on. Maybe I left someone out, or maybe it's someone that I mentioned. Name a player that you guys think will break out for the Chiefs this upcoming season.